Hello everyone, welcome back. Okay, I'm going to start off today with this Chinese elm. This is one of these kind of rescue ones that I got from a shopping centre. I'm always kind of picking these up, I don't know why, but I do. I can't pass them by. If I see them that they're really struggling, then I save them because they just get left there, they don't get watered. And then they just end up dying. So I spotted this one. I think there was only this one left more or less alive. The rest are all brown and crispy. This one had a bit of life left in it, so I brought it home. Had pretty bad roots, as you can see, so it was either chop it right back and try and work from a cutting, or do something with all these big ugly roots. So I'll put it on this rock, and as you can see, it's growing pretty good now and pretty strong. It's definitely revived now. Needs good weeding, I know that. This is kind of just a temporary pot for it while I got it back into health. So what I'll do anyway first is just give this a bit of a weeding. So it'll be ready to go into a more of a bonsai pot now when I'm repotting it. Let's put it into this big pot so it could gain vigour and strength and recover from neglect. And as you can see, I've kind of neglected it myself when it comes to the weeding part. These wood sorrel, they send roots all around your pot, and they're so weak. When you get them, you pull them, they just snap. I managed to get all that one that time. Now with this tree, there is a root on the other side. I'll show it to you now in a second. Let's get rid of the rest of these. There is a root on this side. It kind of stops here. This is just woody, and the flesh is up here. So maybe what I'll do now for the winter is put some sphagnum moss around here and see can I get it to shoot out. I might even carve that back a little bit. I don't know, I think I did this before, but at some stage when I was weeding, I think I pulled out all the sphagnum moss by mistake without remembering that I'd put it there. There's probably weeds or something growing in it, and when I pulled it, the whole lot came out, and I forgot that it was there for a reason. But anyway, we'll see if I can get it to root again. Might not do it now, but in the spring it might. So to help it get started, I might put some sphagnum moss on it now, just to help, and see when it does start, because they are still growing. Weather is quite mild, and then they stay out all year round here. I leave them out all the time because we don't really get that cold for winter. -2 or 3 is kind of what we normally get. And once in a blue moon, like once every 3 or 4 years, we might get a bit of snow, but nothing too hectic. We did get a really bad blast of snow once. The beast from the east came, gave us about a foot of snow, but that was about the worst I've ever had here in my lifetime. So yeah, so they stay out all winter and they seem to do fine. Some keep their leaves, others lose their leaves. That seems to depend on the plant, because they're in the same soil, they're sitting on the same bench side by side, and one could be completely bare and the other one could be still growing. Okay, so we'll give it a bit of a pruning anyway, and it's starting to send out a lot of shoots. We want to start trying to get it a little bit of a style on it now going, getting started to look a bit more tree-like if we can. So that means we got to create gaps between the branches. See, if you create gaps, then you stop it looking more like a bush and get it start looking more like a tree. I always say that the gaps between the branches are nearly as important as the branches themselves. If you want it to look miniature looking, under here we can get rid of, taking off anything growing down. Just looking here now what we've got another branch up here, so maybe we'll get rid of this one down here. Take that one out and we'll prune this one back a bit. Clean it off back here, we'll clean this one off, and that's created a gap in here then. And that's the way you want to kind of do it if you want it to look more tree-like. Kind of being a little bit, not pruning it right the way back. Yeah, I'll kind of work my way around. I can always prune off a little bit more if I need to, but I want to see what the structure and the shape of it looks like before I completely go too crazy on it. This branch could maybe come back another little bit, but we'll do that once we've got the kind of silhouette sorted out. I could probably repot this now and it would just carry on growing like nothing's happened. I've done it with a few of them. They seem to not really, doesn't seem to bother them getting repotted. They just keep growing. But I'll leave it for the winter in this pot. May as well let it keep growing, getting stronger and stronger, and then we'll find a good pot for it in the spring. And we'll turn what was probably going to be dead in a few days into something nice, hopefully. I think it's starting to look okay already, considering it's only really this will be only really its second kind of styling. Just taking these ones that are growing up. Always pruning to an outward facing leaf as well. I'm going to say outward facing, I know they're all facing outwards, but I mean a leaf that, like if you've got a branch like that and you want the next branch to grow that way, you prune to that leaf. If you want it growing this side, you prune to this leaf. So being here, we want it to go maybe this way, so I'll go back to that leaf there, which is coming this way. So you can see this one is definitely a bit long. We can prune that one back a bit. We'll keep going up along first, running any dead bits out the middle. Trying to reduce the amount of crossing branches as well, where I can. Top here will get quite thick, but that's okay, because then once it's thick you can just go in and just kind of thin it out and clean out the inner bits. And you've got kind of a choice then of which you want to keep. If you do want to kind of keep a little bit of light going through. So once you kind of got it pruned into the shape you want it, roughly, then you can go in and clean out the inner bits. So it's not just one solid block on the top, you need gaps around here as well, as like you want gaps going different heights, but then when you look down you want gaps, like, so you basically got little pads separate, and as they mature and fill out they'll only just get better and better. Right now we're still only just starting of this tree, but already starting to get a little bit of good structure going, good branching. So each time I do it I'm taking off more and more of the bad stuff, keeping the good stuff. And here now we'll just take out them, so we create a gap here. Don't worry about the gaps being a bit big, because they will fill out very quickly. If you don't keep me pruning up on these runners will just keep getting longer and thicker. Then when you chop them back, you end up with a branch that could be this thick out here, which is not what you want. You won't find the branches out on the edges. Okay, so let's have a look now. We're looking pretty good now, I think. We just need to prune that side, I think. The side needs just reducing a bit. And the side, yeah, we'll reduce it another bit, I think. Here we can come back a bit on as well. So that to me is already starting to look pretty tree-like from what it started up as. If you want to go back and look at my videos on this, you'll be able to see me popping it up and putting it on this rock, and you can see what state it was in when I got it. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I've got this one. That's good for now. I like that. You keep pruning them. The more you prune them, the tighter they get, the more, because you're always like taking out bed bits here and there and stuff. Still wondering if this slightly long. Maybe it's okay. Don't want it perfect shape. I want kind of a little bit jotting out here and there, make it a bit real looking. It's not a topiary bush. Okay, so let's have a look at this now. Let's see if I can just cut that a little bit just to scar it a bit. Like I said, I'm not sure if I already did this. I'm sure I did. We got no roots from it, or it might have started growing roots, but then I pulled the weeds and took the moss with it. So I'm basically kind of air layering it. So that's actually snapped there now. The old root is just dried out. So we'll get some moss on that and see if we can encourage a bit of growth on it. I'll have to wet the moss a bit, so I'll have to pause a minute. Okay, so I mixed a bit of rooting hormone in with it as well. Maybe help. Try and get it well packed in there. Okay, I think the last time I put some ordinary moss over the top, and that was probably my downfall, because the ordinary moss probably had weeds in it, which filled this with roots, and then when I pulled it out, it pulled the whole lot off. So I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to leave it like that. It's not imperative that it grows, but I just think it'll look better with that extra root down there. I kind of like this as the front of the rock. It's got a little bit more detail. On this side, the roots are kind of all coming down together. It's a bit flat, so this was kind of going to be the front. So if I could get that root down there, it would be nice. Okay, so I think that's it for this one. Branches too late, we can just get there. Good idea to just look at the top too, just to see. Yeah, that looks okay. So we can put that on to one side now. Bring up our next tree. Again, another little Chinese elm. This one was an air layer that I took off the top of a tree. Bit of a funny looking thing, probably will end up on a rock or something one day because it looks a bit gnarly looking and things. It could even be one, being that it's so gnarly, that I could put on me, get it growing on my skeleton at some stage. I don't know, would it fit on it any good? Maybe on his shoulder there. It could be something we could do. Let me just see if I can pull it out of the pot carefully. You know, if we had it planted on his shoulder, we got it growing kind of around here. Up here we got the roots going in around his ribs and stuff. That might be what this ends up doing. Yeah, again, maybe later on. We'll see. I'm still thinking about that guy. What I'm going to do with him. Okay, so this guy, again, it's just a rough, quick pruning of some of these longer branches. It's really starting to take off again. I'm not going to do too much to it because I'm not entirely sure of the style of it yet. What I'm going to do like that, if I can put it on that thing, let me know what you think. Do you think it would be a good one for that, or is it a bit small? The only thing I'm thinking is a bit small. I know it will grow pretty fast. We've got a couple of branches in here. I think we can get rid of these. And this one here doesn't look great. It's a bit long and straight. So just to show you can see here now, because that was left to grow, that one, if I can see, that one's left to grow too long, and now I've snipped it. Now I've ended up with a big thick branch here. So ideally what we need to do with that is go right back, chop the whole thing off again. See, same up here, I've got some big ones because it was left. But if you keep it pruned, you end up with little ones like this instead. This one here is going across, get rid of that one. So that's why I like to keep them pruned, for that exact reason. So you don't end up with these big thick branches out to the tips. But this one here, I think we don't want this one either. I think this one right back. So yeah, so this, I think it's too thick and it's too long out to the end, too straight. So I think I'm going to take it right back and start that one again. You want to try and get your branches nice and fine out to the tips. So let's take it off in stages. This whole top might come off one day, and I might just keep this kind of cascade branch. Again, it was just an area that I took off the top of one of these twisty trees. Or I took it, no, maybe I took an area off this, was it? I can't even remember now, so I think I took an area off here actually. Yeah, this was kind of a bottom twisty bit. Or it could have been a middle bit, I'm not too sure now at this stage. This is why I make the videos, because I can never remember half the stuff I do. At least I could go back and just, if I really needed to find out, I could go back and find out. Just try and keep all the dead leaves out as well, because that's just somewhere for bugs to hide and breed in. Get rid of any of your dead leaves out of them. They kind of collect and end up as a bit of a wet ball in amongst your branches. Okay, I'll give the soil a bit of a cleaning. I do think this was an air layer, but I think I took an air layer off this as well, or a cutting off it. I'm sure this was, looking at it, this was definitely an air layer off something as well. Yeah, you can see there the old wood. So this really needs to be potted a bit higher, and that needs to be cut off. But that cut off with these roots coming over there might go on that skeleton shoulder pretty good. I'm still looking at what I'm going to plant on it. If I do decide to put this on it, I might take it out of this pot and put it in the taller pot, if I can find one. Just get the roots to grow longer. It's one way of doing it. If you get the roots growing longer, like with the rock, you can wrap them around then. That had long roots, or if not, I just planted on it and buried it, the whole thing. So if I was to plant this on it now, when the roots, just say I planted it on there, but the roots only come to here, wrapped around, then I would bury it right up to here in soil, and then reduce the soil down bit by bit as the roots are growing. So there's two ways really you can do it. You can do it like that, or you could put it in a long tall pot and get the roots getting really long, and then it's a little bit easier. Okay, so that's that little guy. Yeah, you can see the old branch there, the dead branch. So that needs cutting out. Okay, so there's only one last thing I want to do. Just a quick one, and that's my Virginia creeper here. You can see there the whole trunk is getting covered in moss. It's finished now. The leaves are just hanging in, the last couple of leaves. Most of them are falling off, but the pot itself needs cleaning up, and all this moss want to get off it. So I'll just pause the video and clean off the moss because it's going to probably take a little while. Okay, it's actually coming off pretty easy. Thought it was going to be a scrubbing job for 20 minutes, but so this was literally a piece of, I wasn't even sure what it was when I saw it, because it was just a piece of black wood. It just looked like a piece of real dark brown black chunk like that. It was maybe twice the height of this, and it was just lying on a piece of on the concrete, and it'd been probably dug out a week or so, maybe even 2 weeks before. There was no branches, no roots or nothing on it. So I thought I'll just bring it home, see what it is, and see, well, not see what it was, see if I could put it in a pot and see if it'll grow. And sure enough it did. I didn't chop it back or anything. So it grew the first year, but it had some big ugly stupid branches on it, and all the growth was out there and everything. So then the next year then I chopped all the branches off it, and I went again with it just as basically trunk, and just growing the branches on it. It does send out some big long, because it is a climber, so it sends out long shoots. Try to climb, but actually worms in the wood here. Okay, now just a matter of cleaning off the top of this. Some of the moss is okay, but I'm sure it'll grow back pretty quick now. Winter's here. Everything tends to grow covered in moss. We get so much rain. Okay, scrape that back. Last year I repotted this. I was tempted to put it in a different pot, a bigger pot, something, but this is just a cheap pot. But I did like the way the pot matches the colour of the leaves. And I got that red and black dappledy look about it. And just seemed to match the leaves quite well. So I put it back in this pot. Okay, so a lot of cleaning up to do. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, let me know what you think about that Chinese elm. Do you think that one would be a good one on the skeleton or not? Yeah, they do grow good roots, so it would be a good one. You can see by the others, they have a lot of Chinese elms root over rock and statues and stuff. So I do know that they grow good roots and stuff, and it has got a kind of old gnarly kind of look about it, so it might look quite okay. Let me know what you think, or does it need something bigger? Even something like this. Old. I want something old and like barely hanging in, and something that looks kind of a bit haunty looking. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. So as always guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and stuff, and we'll see you on the next one.